Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Sunday, I hope you guys are having the most amazing day ever and thank you so much for joining me here today. So today we are building a Fairytale Cottage in Henford-on-Bagley because I'm still on my cottage living fix. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. I had so much fun building this house. It ended up being just 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, so it's quite a cozy house compared to some of my initial cottage living builds, but I really hope you guys enjoy this one, as I said, and you have a family in mind as to who you might want to move in here. So we've gone for a very traditional exterior. I found an image on Pinterest that I was loosely working from. I didn't sort of stick to it as in it looks exactly like it. It was more just for the structure than anything else, but the rest of it I kind of came up with by myself, the colour schemes, the landscaping and everything else. And I did use the watermill again, so if you guys haven't already seen the watermill speed build that I did on the channel, I will link it down below, and there'll also be a link just coming up on the right hand side of the screen now. So that one I used the watermill on as well, and I just loved the fact that it was a debug item, and when I pressed live mode, it actually started rotating and I was like, okay, this is cool, I need to use this again. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to do so. And so yeah, we're just sort of sticking with this very fairy tale-esque sort of theme, and we do make some changes. What you're seeing here isn't the final product. I make quite a few changes here and there just as I'm going through the process, and that's just because I don't know, I had an idea of what I wanted to do in my head. I wanted to do a fairy tale-esque cottage. I had no idea of the shape that I wanted to go for, so you'll just see me bobbing back in and out and just making some changes to the structure slightly and to the swatches that we use as well. And that's simply because, you know, when you start working on something like this, I think you just start adding elements to it and then you change your mind. And I like leaving that in the speed builds because you guys can see the process that I actually go through to make something like this. And so this one really didn't actually take me too much time at all. I actually started this earlier on this afternoon, as in today. So when I'm building now, I'm actually uploading on the same day. So it didn't really take me that much too much time at all. Sorry, it didn't take me that. I can't speak. It didn't take me that long, is what I'm trying to say. So, although there's a lot of detailing that goes into the landscaping and the interior, etc., I don't know. It came quite easily to me. I think because I had an initial idea of what I wanted it to look like. I just wanted to do it justice, and yeah, I've been wanting to do this fairy tale-esque inspired build for quite some time. However, I've been sidetracked by doing a lot of family cottages, family farms. I did the watermill build and I did my initial build when I got early access to the pack as well, and so this one's kind of been sat on the sideline waiting to be done, and I thought, what better time than to do it now while I'm still on my country living kick, because I think I, as well as a lot of other people, are still really enjoying playing cottage living. So I really hope, as I said, you have some use for this and have a family that you might want to move in here. So the house itself, as I said at the start, is 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So on the ground floor we have a full bathroom as you walk in, and then we have a kitchen, dining room, and then a living room. So it's very basic in that respect. On the upper floor we have 2 bedrooms. We have the master bedroom with an ensuite, and then we have a single children's room with a main bathroom as well. So it's not one of my larger builds, but with it being fairy tale-esque, I wanted to keep it quite small, quite quaint. And so this is what we ended up doing. So we're currently working on the landscaping here. You'll see me here just trying to mess around with the watermill itself. So that was really important for me, that I wanted to put this in here because I really wanted to see how I could use that item in a completely different setting. And so it was quite interesting to me that I did a cottage with a watermill, like a really quite big family cottage, and then I've also used it in a build like this. So it's a very versatile object, and you'll see me there. I'm just going through a couple of the Realm of Magic windows just to see if I could put like some stained glass features in here, because initially I was like, okay, let's do it this way, and then I thought, well, Realm of Magic, and then I started to think, okay, well, can we add some really supernatural elements, I suppose, as it were, and then I just decided completely against it. And then you'll see me here just completely changing the swatches of the exterior windows and having complete change of heart. So again, I go back to I just had a few change of minds while I was going through this build, and it's just a process that I go through. I tend to, unless I'm building a house and I have a particular colour scheme in mind, I tend to think, okay, well, this is what I'm sticking with. But sometimes I'll build a house and I'm like, I'll start building it and then I'll just completely change the colour scheme of either the exterior or the interior. And it's all part of the process, and that's why I leave the whole sort of process, as it were, in for you guys, just so you can see what I go through when I actually do these builds. So we're now working on the landscaping. The landscaping on this build, compared to my other stuff, really isn't all that... How do I explain it? Over the top. I think this one's quite muted for me, to be honest, and you can still see that there's quite a bit going on, but compared to my other stuff, this one's quite low-key. This one's not quite as... Okay, well, I'll go in and I'll just put this, that, and here. I tend to go absolutely nuts with it, and so with this one, I think what I wanted to do was put just enough landscaping on, but keep it very, again, fairy tale-esque. I was thinking that, like, all I kept thinking in my head was like Disney fairy tale, Disney fairy tale, Disney fairy tale. And so we ended up coming up with this design here with the exterior swatches and the windows. And these windows that we got with Cottage Living are absolutely beautiful. They really are, with the shutters. We got so many different shapes of windows in this build, which really surprised me. I don't know why it surprised me, because I think you can build... There are that many different types of cottages out there in the real world. I think they really did have to think, okay, well, what kind of windows can we bring with this pack? And so I think that was probably on the forefront of their minds when they were doing this pack. But I absolutely love all of the windows that we got with it, and I love trying to use all these different ones just to see, because if you've been around the channel for a while, you may have noticed that I tend to use quite a few different window styles on my houses, just because I think it makes them look a little bit more interesting. I don't know how people who build can use the same type of exactly the same window on a build and make it look superb, because I can't. With this one here, I can see at least 3 or 4 different kinds of windows just on the front itself, and then I think we even introduced a new style of window on the back as well. I don't know why I can't seem to make a build that uses just one kind of window. I'm going to have to challenge myself to do that, because I find it really, really difficult. Anyway, as you can see, we're still working on the exterior. The exterior took me about, I think it was just over an hour to do, so it really wasn't too bad. The interior actually took me probably around the same time, so I think all in all this build took me around 2 hours, which I didn't think was too bad at all, considering the detailing that we went into on the outside and the inside. So I was quite proud of myself for that one, to be honest, because I'd actually started doing another speed build for today's video, and it's a very typical British house, and I'm still going to put it on the channel. It's just that I was thinking I really wanted to get this Fairytale Cottage idea out of my mind and sort of onto the game and upload it on the channel before I just completely forgot about it. But I am thinking of doing another one as well, because I found another reference image on Pinterest that I really liked as well, and I'd quite like to try and see if I can recreate that, because this one, as I said, was very loosely based off a reference image that I found. In terms of the general shape, I pretty much stuck with, but you'll see me here going in, and I use these panes from Get Together, because I was like, I wanted it to be really traditional cottagey vibes thrown in with a little bit of, again, Disney fairy tale, and so like the ideal Fairytale Cottage, I guess. I've already decided that I'm going to call this house Fairytale Cottage, because I've actually already uploaded it to the gallery prior to me uploading this speed build, just because I knew I was going to upload the speed build today. So anyone who has access to the gallery, you can already get this, but you'll hear more information about that at the end of the video, as always. But anyway, I wanted to hear what you guys have done for this weekend, because I've had a pretty low-key weekend, to be honest. We went out for a meal for my mum's birthday last night, and today was just a cozy day at home for me. So we ordered breakfast, and then I decided to work on this speed build, and then obviously I've been editing the footage and the screenshots and the thumbnail and doing the voiceover, etc. So my entire Sunday's really been just doing this video to get up on the channel. So I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have been up to today. But yes, I really like this house. I like that it's a little bit different from my other ones, in that it definitely has that fantasy feel to it, and it's a little bit, although I can imagine this house would it might exist in real life. I don't think it's gone too far into the fantasy side that it might not exist in real life, but it's definitely got that fantasy-esque feel to it, which I absolutely love. So you'll see here, we've already moved on to the interior. We've spent quite a lot of time on the exterior, so we've moved on to the interior of the build now. So as you can see here, you walk in and you come into this kitchen dining area here. So we're currently working on the kitchen area, which I decided to put in this corner here just because there seemed to be quite a bit of wall space. After I'd done the floor plan, I did move that archway over just ever so slightly, because on the left hand side there, that is where the living room is going to go. And I didn't want to keep everything too closed off, because I didn't want it to feel too claustrophobic while your Sims were in the house. So I just decided to keep everything kind of open, but also kind of closed at the same time, if that makes any sense. So the kitchen came together really quite quickly, and I already had in my head that I wanted to do like a dark brown and maybe yellow green color scheme. So that's what we ended up going for here, with hints of different colors here and there, just to give it a little bit more character. And we ended up putting a fireplace in here too, with a little chair, I believe. Yeah, a little chair goes in here just so Sims can maybe enjoy their morning coffee near the fireplace, which I think is a really nice idea. And we ended up putting just a plant here too, a lamp, and then I put some curtains in from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, which I have spoken about before. And I love that I tied in the yellow with the curtains with the yellow splashes that we have in the kitchen as well. So I really like how that sort of tied in together really nicely. I thought that was a really nice touch. And I think the kitchen is by far my favorite room of this house. As much as I like the living room, I don't know, I don't quite like it as much as the kitchen. The kitchen really is the selling point for this house for me. And so you'll just see me here going in and cluttering up the countertops here. And I've just thought, when your Sims make their meals, I don't know if they can use this counter that's just on the end here. Can they use that counter to prep their food? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Anyway, you'll see me here just like pausing as well. So we haven't frozen. I'm still here. It's just that my family, we were texting on our group chat from last night, because we'd put in some like photos from when we'd gone out for my mum's birthday. So I quickly grabbed my phone just to have a look at that, and I realized that I was still recording. So if you see me like just freezing for a moment, don't worry, the video hasn't frozen. It's just because I was checking my phone. Anyway, so you'll see here we do have space for a dining room table as well. So because it's only a 2-bedroom house, I think the maximum amount of Sims that can live here are 3. So I just thought it might be a nice option if your Sims wanted to have a party, or if they wanted to host a dinner or something like that. It's just a nice option for them to have like a more formal dining space here. And then I was thinking, well, if I hadn't have put that dining room table there, then what would I have put there? So I just thought it was a nice space filler as well. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's functional, and also it was a space filler. So it's a win-win really. So you just see me here going in and cluttering up and just changing a few things around. And yeah, now we move on to the living room. The living room, I had a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out a colour scheme. So you'll see me going in with like a yellow sofa and then a salmon coloured sofa. I go in and change all the different rugs. I change the curtains what felt like 20 times. I'm not even joking. I don't think it was quite 20 times, but it was probably nearing on 20 times, just because I was thinking, well, I don't really know what colour scheme I want to go for in here. And so, but we did end up landing on more of like a greeny dark brown with hints of blue colour scheme, if I'm remembering correctly. Although I'm looking back now and I'm not wishing I'd have stuck with the salmon pink and the yellow, but it might have helped sort of tie in the kitchen a little bit, because obviously the kitchen's quite yellow based. But anyway, I just decided completely against it, and then we ended up throwing these sofas in from the cottage living pack because I'd initially had a look at those sofas from, I think they're from City Living, the ones that I had down there initially. They're kind of like used looking. They look like they've been used. And so I was thinking, well, maybe they'd look nice in here, but I ended up coming away from that completely, and we ended up going with these sofas, as I said, from the new pack, which I think worked really well, actually. And this is where I start to be completely indecisive about the curtains, and I just end up taking them out completely. I put in some curtains from Seasons, and then I take them out, and I can't actually remember what curtains we even settle on. We're going to find out together, aren't we? Oh, yes. It's these ones from the base game, just because they seem to be traditional but also quite muted in the colour. And they fit the windows really nicely in terms of size. So I was like, well, we'll just keep these ones in here. So that's what we end up going up with. And then in this corner here, so I actually end up putting a chess table in this little bump out here, which is very unusual. I've never included a chess table in a build, but I figured, because your Sims don't actually have a television in this living room, if you guys want to add one, then you absolutely can. I did not put one in here. Personal preference, maybe. I really don't know, but it wouldn't take much to put one in here. And so we ended up putting a chess table in this little bump out, as I said, and it was actually really nice to do because, as I said, it's not something that I do ever. So I thought, with it being a very traditional sort of cottagey house, I thought that a chess table just fit in really nicely. I'm going to stop saying chess table now because I feel like I've said it 10 times in the last 60 seconds. So there it goes. I'm not going to say what it is. We've said it already. So I thought it was quite a nice use of the space, really, and it just means that your Sims can do some level build up and spend some time together. And maybe this is even a holiday home. If you guys want to use this as a holiday home, then you absolutely can. Or if you want to use this as your main Sims residence. What is a residence? I'm thinking of Phasmophobia and Revenant. Oh my gosh, get it out of your head, Rach. Okay, residence. So we end up just going back into the kitchen and the living room, just adding some little bits here and there. And this is the downstairs bathroom. It's nothing special. It's literally just a bath, a toilet and a sink from what I remember. But I just thought, with this little bit here, I didn't really know what else to put here, I'll be honest. I thought maybe I could put a laundry room here, and then it seemed a little bit too modern to put a laundry room in a build like this. So I thought, well, let's just put a bathroom downstairs because, you know, your Sims are always going to use it, so why not, right? And so we end up keeping it quite traditional looking. And then we move on to the upstairs, and this is the main bedroom. So with it being the size and shape that it is, i.e. it's not very big and it's a very odd shape, it's like an L shape, I decided to put the bed in the corner. So if a couple of Sims live here, I don't know if the rumour is true that your Sims can scoot over when they've got in the bed. I've no idea. So anyway, we're going to just brush over that. So we ended up just putting like a little vanity table here, a little chair, and one of these rugs from the base game. And of course going in with my, I think, new favourite plant from the cottage living pack. It's absolutely, I just love it so much. It's in like a wicker basket. I just love it. I really like it. So, and then we ended up putting this table in here because I really didn't know what else to put in this room. I'm going to be honest. It's such a difficult shape to try and navigate. So I made the best out of a, not a bad situation, but like not an ideal situation at the same time. And then after this, we move on to the single children's room. I suppose you could have a child or a teen in here, or if your family has a toddler, then you could just swap out this bed for a toddler bed. But I had a bit of a hard time with the colour schemes on this one too. So you'll see me, and initially I was like, let's just go cream and dark brown with some white thrown in there, and then I realized just how difficult that is to do for a kid's room, and so I ended up like throwing some color in there and putting some different wall art on the walls just to make it look a little bit more personable, a little bit more fun, and like a child sim actually lives here, or a teen sim. Again, whatever you want to do with this room, then you absolutely can. And again, it is an L shape, but because it's smaller, it was actually easier for me to navigate. So we end up just doing this one, and yeah, so we end up putting like a little chair here and a chest of drawers, just where your child sims can change their clothes and they can sit and maybe I don't know, read a book or play with some toys. And it's really funny because the only TV in this build is actually in the kids' room, which I find really, really hilarious. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I didn't know what else to put on top of the chest of drawers, okay? So I was like, okay, well, we'll just do this one. So you just see me going in and adding some wall art and just making it look a little bit more fun. Again, like a child sim actually lives in here, and so this is what we end up coming up with. And then we work on the last 2 bathrooms, but that's pretty much it for this speed build, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed it. So you can grab this house from the gallery. My origin ID, of course, is RachelPedd. Tray files are available from the description box down below. You can get them from Sim File Share. But thank you so much for joining me here today, everyone. I hope you guys take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye!